What is up, everyone? Welcome to another Etheria restart video. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. Today, guys, we're going to do something different here on the channel. We're actually going to do an account takeover. Now, if you have been watching my content on different games and stuff, you know that every now and then I do takeovers where I'm basically taking an account and trying to take it to the next level. That's exactly what we're going to do in today's video. First, I want to give a massive shout out to Etheria Restart for sponsoring the video. As you guys can probably notice, I am on a free-to-play account because he never purchased anything. Now, he has been playing since the very beginning. He is overall pretty loaded in terms of resources. He has been kind of like logging in, doing the dailies and stuff, but without actually pushing towards progression or anything like that, right? And we're gonna basically record this video in two phases. I'm gonna record this phase where I'm gonna show you his account to kind of like have an understanding of where he currently is in the game. We're gonna have a look a bit over some of the builds. And the second phase where I'm pretty much done revamping everything, creating teams for all of the content, and see what result we can achieve. So in terms of characters, he does have a pretty stacked account. We have Lily, Nymphonial, Klaus, Batsby, we have a Lilium, we got Plume, which is absolutely amazing, and we have a bunch of other SSR units as well. Truth be told, everything that we need in order to defeat the content is right here, okay? We really do not require anything else whatsoever. These units are more than capable to farm Inferno on every single difficulty, on every single boss. Sorry, not difficulty. Inferno is the difficulty, the scratch. But I'm just quickly going to show you a little bit some of the builds. As you guys can probably notice on the screen, the speeds and everything else. That's Lily. Fairly decent speed. Not 340 or anything like that, but it gets the job done. You can see where he invested Lattice into characters already. Real Mocha's S3. Some of the characters, of course, might not be built or anything like that. Pretty decent Deering build as well. That's his Batsby with a count. That's something that's going to change once we're going to start farming Chloros, the new boss that was added a couple of weeks ago. Linglo, pretty slow. Holden, he has no lattice into his skills at all. He's pretty slow as well. Lilium, not built yet. She's probably going to be one of the characters that will get to maximum, at least on the S2 and S3. We might leave the S1 on the side based on how many lattices we will have available. Then we have Freya right here. We have, of course, Fukio. No lattice into her either. We have Plume, no lattice. She will really need some lattice to make it work properly. And then we have a bunch of awesome SR units that are leveled up. Of course, making more 6 stars is going to be essential because we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. In terms of resources, we do have, wow, a lot of them, okay? I was just looking at the 2-star ones, 937. We have a bunch of 4 stars. So we should be able to easily make around 10 6 stars with these resources, which is absolutely amazing because we will definitely require that. Talking about resources, what he has on his account. So, gear-wise, he looks fairly decentish in terms of farming, 1,700 pieces, but that might mean that he never really got to a point where he's like doing a cleanse, okay? So that's something that could potentially be as well. I want to see what crit damage we have in here. Sorry, I'm on the wrong one. Just to kind of like have an idea in terms of gear. We don't really have many. We have a few from Fury. We have some from Kenai. We have some Onslaught. We have one Momentum, which looks pretty bad. A second one, which could potentially turn out to be better. That's one of the main things that we might kind of like struggle with. Gear. So if his gear is going to be really bad, it will be pretty hard for us to do some freaking magic and just bang jump to the next difficulty unless his gear is somewhere decent, okay? And we do have some pieces to make it work. It's very important for damage dealers rather than the rest of the characters because you're going to be able to make it work with the other support characters, regardless of what crazy gear you have available and stuff like that, right? Now, if we're going to go on to the Hyperlink Charter, because we had a brand new update today, we actually got a new part in the Arena Trials. We have the Arena Trial 2, so you're going to be able to claim some rewards from here as well, which is good because most likely at a Challenger part, which will be pretty damn hard to get because most likely it's connected to RTA. Most likely we're going to have at least one perfect lattice in this whole thing, right? So worth pushing for it as well. We have 32,000 gems. We have 89 million Etheria coins, which I can guarantee you by the time I'm done with it, is going to be game over. Now, in terms of shells, we actually do have some decent shells. One of the main problems, as you guys will notice in a minute, is that he did not really farm Inferno stages, okay? And because of it, we're not really going to have very good shells with good matrix effects. As you guys can probably notice, we actually have a bunch of this crap that I haven't been using for a very, very long time. We have only 2.9 million training data, which will definitely be a bit of an issue in terms of building a lot of shells and stuff, but that's not a problem either. We're going to be able to make it work somehow. In terms of materials, we are super loaded with the Prowess materials. We have 22 perfect lattice, 42 evolution ones. So with this, we can at least max 2 characters if we have to, but I'm going to try to use them wisely. I will show you all of that later on. And not a lot of stamina or anything like that. We do have a lot of training XP, which will 1,000,000% be required. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video, probably a lot of you guys might be wondering, what character should I build for this area of the game, for the Green Pursuit, for the thresholds? What should I do here? What should I do there? And I think this will be very, very helpful. A lot of you guys might be coming new to the game now with the actual global launch. So in terms of Green Pursuit, guys, that's kind of like where we are. We have on Inferno only Nikonana and Sharon. We don't have Hoyan, we don't have Rango, and we don't have Chloros yet. But with the characters that we have available, we will make it work, okay? In terms of the thresholds, we have only Hell 4 on Terror Maton. That's an easy fix. Inferno on Doki Doki. That's another easy fix most likely. And we have Hell 4 on Aurora, which will be able to we will be able to sort this out and go to Inferno without a problem. On Doki Doki, we should be able to push a bit higher. What I'm curious, because I haven't really paid attention, if we have a Tsukiyomi on his account. If we have one, we're going to be able to do wonders with a speed farming team. But we don't have her, so we're going to run a Lily instead, which he already has available, and that is good enough. That's pretty much it for this part. I just kind of like wanted to basically walk you through what he's running at the moment. We can actually have a quick look at the teams as well. The presets are definitely going to be pretty helpful once we're done with it to save the team. So this is the team for his Terror Maton, which can definitely be improved quite a bit. Even Deering can easily farm the Inferno stage without a problem, and we're gonna get to that part as well. On Doki Doki, let's see what he's running for Inferno. He got 1 star in here. Okay, so that's what we're running in here. This can definitely be improved a little bit as well. It will be a bit more challenging without Tsukiyomi to make like a 2-tap strategy where you just kill the first wave, Codex, 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 kill the second wave, GG's. That's what I'm running on my main account. But maybe I might be able to do something with Nymphonial instead. If I can build Real Mocha slightly faster, she already has the lattice into it. So that could potentially allow me to make a pretty interesting team in here as well. And I might have to build another codex. I think I've seen he has 3 codexes built. And moving on to Aurora, nothing on Inferno. But in here we have Badsby on his account. The only thing is, if that Badsby has no lattice into him, and I haven't really paid attention, he doesn't, it's fine. What I'm going to do instead, I'm going to build Lilium, and we're going to run Lilium instead. It won't be a 100% win rate team because you know the RNG in the game, but Lilium with this comp right here, will easily, absolutely demolish the Aurora. And it might be like a 60, 70, 80% win rate based on the RNG, but at least it will allow him to farm this, get better gear, and later on at some point, maybe, considering building Beatsby once he's done with the rest. Truth be told, I am not free to play on my main account. I am buying the pass and a couple of different things, but I'm never really buying the perfect lattice, right? And I think more or less we should be in a very similar spot, depending on how much you grinded the game and stuff. But we're gonna do a complete rework on the account, guys, and I'm gonna walk you through all of the changes that I'll be doing, what characters I'll building. I'll explain you why I've built them, for what content, and show you the final result. Right, guys, so we're back with the second part. Before, I showed you basically how the account looked like. Now I'm gonna show you what changes I've done, what teams I've made to basically take the account to the next level, what characters I've built as well, because I actually had to 6-star a few characters, starting with Lilium, Kazuyo, Linglu, Plume. Who else we got at 6-star? I think that might be it. I've got a few different ones at 5 stars, like Kachi the Guard, Dinah, and more or less that is about it in terms of character investment. And with all this, we are able now to clear pretty much all of the content in the game except one final big boss, okay? I'm gonna share with you the teams, the builds for everything. I'm gonna talk about what this account actually needs in order to progress. And let's start directly with that. The weakest thing on his account is this part right here, shells. So he's really lacking good shells. He doesn't really have anything with good matrix effects in terms of like codexes. Yes, we have the speed and all that. We have no currency to play around with the passive effects because he needs to farm a lot of shells. So basically, if I would be the owner of this account, what I would do is probably farm shells every single day to maximum. I would refill with my stamina every single day as well. But then, of course, this is a free-to-play account, and he's not really stressed about it. He would rather save it for new characters and stuff, which is fair play. But I would use my stamina every single day for a while in Rangokutsu. Then I would look to farm probably some Jackal Guards because he only has one of them, and you do need Jackal Guards and tons of different things if you want to defeat the big final boss, which is Chloros, right? And his speed is definitely not there yet. I'm not looking to basically invest in a lot of different characters. I'm trying to do it with as few characters as possible. I could probably invest into Fukio, into Doki, if he has Doki Doki. I don't think he does, actually. No Doki on his account. I don't know why I thought that he might have Doki. Either way, invest in some different characters. We don't really have Lattice left anymore either, so that would make it pretty difficult. What I've done, I fully invested into Lilium, and you're going to see how freaking powerful she is. If you got Lilium and you haven't invested Lattice into her yet, you are literally missing out on the best DPS in the entire game, hands down, and you cannot change my mind. So you're going to see how impactful she is in every single team that we are running, except Doki Doki. Then, I've put in a bit of Lattice, of course, into Plume. So I've maxed her S3 and almost maxed the S1. He can do that later on because we only have one Lattice left. Of course, Kazuyo, S3, S1, kind of like a must-have. Talking about Kachi, S1, S3, Kachi the God, S3, S2, S1, max everything. Then Dinah, S1, S3 to get extra speed on her as well. And Linglu, she already had an S1 done, so I did not have to do anything there. I would honestly recommend him later on to invest into Badsby, get his S1 done, get his S3 done to level 4. You can ignore the level 5, and he's going to have a more consistent team for Aurora. And that is his biggest weakness in terms of content at the moment, in terms of farming it consistently. Nymphonial already had a couple of lattice into her skill. Klaus already had some into the S1, but it's not a necessity to have it in there. And Rilmocha already has it right here. Now, one thing that I've just noticed, she's only actually, no, she's not just level 1. We have the other ones right there. I was going to say, do I need to get some more stats on her? But that's what I've done in terms of investing in characters. Had to make a few 6 stars. Nothing too crazy because he had a lot of good units. And now, from the new event, he can actually just go in and pick probably a different character like Doki. What is it? My god. Right here. I would probably pick Doki from here. Doki or Messiah. But we have Plume. We don't really need Heinrich anymore. We have Lilium. We have Lily. So he's literally in between those characters, from my point of view. Doki or Messiah. Leaving all that on the side, let's quickly dive into content. So, let's start with the Green Pursuit. He already had covered on Inferno, Nikonana, and Sharon. Now, I've improved those teams. Sharon was really not consistent at all. For Nikonana, I've tried as well to do as few changes as possible because this might be helpful for you guys as well. You don't want to invest in a million characters, especially if you maybe just started playing recently. You're not going to have unlimited lattice and stuff. So while we're running right here, guys, we are going to run Kachi instead of running Obol or something like that. We don't really need it. Kachi is going to stun them and is going to reset Lilium if needed, if we're not one-shotting the boss, and it's going to be pretty much GG's. But I'm going to show you the builds in a second. More or less, we have the same builds across all of the runs, except a few areas where I need to change a shell on Lily, sorry. Maybe I need to make her slower. Maybe I need to make her faster. Because her S2 is maxed on Lily, Lilium will get a lot of turn meters. So she will cut in front of the defense down character or other things like that. So we want to avoid that. That's why sometimes I need to make her slower than a character like, I don't know, maybe an Nymphonial or maybe a Klaus, right? So 35 seconds, you do not need Obol in here. Is straight to the point. In fact, you can even bring in a character like Deering as a second DPS. The problem is his shells are really, really, really bad, okay? You're going to see what we have right now, actually. So I might have to move myself on the other side, guys. So that's Kachi. This is the same build that we are running on Kachi, even on Rankokutsu. A bit too slow, unfortunately, but that's because the shell is really not great, and we have no freaking thingies to play around with the passives. As fast as possible, as much accuracy as possible. This is Lilium. This is the count that he has. Fury, Momentum, not necessarily the best one because we're not going to have a lot of debuffs. Akina would have been better, but maybe once we're going to be done farming Rankokutsu, we're going to get something better. And we definitely need that Fury Edge as the third Matrix effect to be able to get better stats on her. Then we have Klaus right here with a Codex as well. As fast as I can get her with as much accuracy as I can get on her. Then Lily right here, she does have the Artisan. She is the fastest for this team because it's not necessarily as important because Klaus is still going in front. I actually had to drop some of the speed on Lilium to make sure that Klaus won't get cut by her after Lily buffs her, right? But if you are using these speeds, something similar is going to be a walk in the park. So around 200 speed on her. You don't want to go too crazy. Now, we're done with Nikonana. Let's move on to the next one. I actually saved all the presets as well because that is pretty important to have the presets done because like this, we're just going to be able to do what we're doing right now. Very important to save them, guys, if you haven't done it. Now we go into Inferno right here. We're going to go to Challenge and we're going to go to the preset. The team is missing gear. Right here, we're running Kachi the God rather than the regular Kachi. And we're going to go right here, use Team, and Bank. Everything equipped. We have one Codex. We have an Artisan. We have the Count. And on Valerian, of course, we have the Gigabyte. Now, I'm quickly going to show you the builds before. She's very slow, just high HP. That's pretty much it. Then we have Kachi the Guard, high speed, high accuracy to make sure you're extending the duration of the immunity and the defense down. Then you have Lily, pretty much the same build. And then we have Lilium right here. Let's dive straight into it. Now, this can be a pretty annoying boss. I'm not really farming this boss much or anything like that, but it can be pretty annoying. As you guys can probably notice, because we are a bit slower with Kachi than with Klaus, Lilium is cutting in front after Lily buffs her. So that's absolutely fine, because like this, we're actually going to keep the immunity on for an extra turn, because we are going after Kachi the God actually puts in the buffs. This is a boss that I'm not really farming, okay? Kind of like the only reason to farm this is to get one of the moon ones to basically extend the duration of debuffs. That shell works really good, especially on Plume too. So I don't necessarily think that you need anything else from this. Not for the moment, in the current meta. I mean, maybe you can argue it and say that some other shells are really, really powerful on niche builds, but you know what? You can live without them. That's why I'm never really farming Sharon personally. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys are farming it. So the whole idea right here is that Kachi, the god, is going to give us immunity. The boss, as you guys can probably notice, if you're not familiar with the mechanics, is constantly applying dot damage on our team. Now, you do need Valerian in here to make sure that passive actually procs and we're not getting wrecked. This time around, unfortunately, we did get destroyed right at the end, okay? So we barely have this much HP left on the boss, and it just happened that the side minions stripped the immunity, and we got all that dot damage. The thing is, a lot of the teams that you're going to build for this game will not be 100% win rate. Like, most of the teams, very, very few, like, let's just say out of 100 teams that are being built by people, maybe 2-3 teams, maximum 5, and that's me being generous, will have 100% win rate, which means that it will never, ever, ever, ever fail. Even if your freaking electricity goes down, that team, it will still not fail, okay? And there are only a very few teams that are able to do that, and usually they farm the content extremely slow. I would rather sacrifice 1 or 2 runs every now and then to have a better speed, right? To farm the content faster. That is overall more efficient in my opinion, right? Because my time is more valuable than 1 stamina that I will be losing per fight. But either way, I think out of all of the teams that we've built on the account, the one on Aurora is the one with the biggest problem, because the boss is pretty challenging, and it has to do with the fact that we cannot get a much stronger build on Lilium, or we cannot run Batsby in there, which could potentially do crazy things. Now, this time around, we managed to heal a bit, so the boss should not absolutely demolish us. We've got the immunity back, even though Lily died. As long as Lilium survives, and I think she should be able to survive without a problem, we should be able to absolutely demolish the boss. But it's just that dot damage that can cause issues. Now, this is not a very fast team. The more he's going to improve the gear, the shells especially, on his characters, especially the DPS ones, the better these runs will be. The faster you're going to kill them, the more reliable they will become more reliable, sorry. Then, Shadow Flame Hoyan. We do not have a key character for this boss, and that is, of course, running... I literally just forgot her name right now. I have a big brain fart. She logs the passives. I will remember it in a second, because I know I will. So instead of that SSR unit, we're going to run Kachi, an R unit, which will stun the side minions. This boss will constantly counterattack and be very, very annoying. We're going to run Lily. This is the build on Lily. Same, very fast. We're going to run Klaus. Same as on the first build versus Nikonana. Lilium, just the standard build. And then we have Kachi right here with Codex, high accuracy, and slightly decent speed. Now, the whole idea here is that you kind of want to have Kachi much faster. If Kachi stuns the enemies before Klaus takes a turn, they're not going to join into counterattack or do any shenanigans whatsoever, okay? And that will increase the win rate. But his gear just does not allow me to do it at the moment, unfortunately. And the name of the character that I couldn't think of before was Celine, right? So we do not have Celine on the account, or at least I did not see her. And because of it, we're going to run Kachi instead. Stunning the enemies do not require us to lock their passives or anything like that. And as you guys can probably notice, bang, 43 seconds. It does the job. That's what matters. Now, this team can fail as well. It can definitely fail if we're getting resisted 2-3 times on Kloss or something like that. Or heck, maybe even once, right? But another one bites the dust. Then we're moving on to Rango Kutsu. Right here, as I was saying, we are running a very, very similar thing. In fact, I don't think we've changed anything in terms of gear, but just in case if I've done anything, I will load the team. So I would like to have around 30 more speed on Kachi. Very hard to achieve though. Kloss is perfect. You need to have over 287 or something like that, if I remember it correctly, to go in front of the minion. Lilium, the same. And then we have Lily, the same. High defense to put in a big shield with Artisan. Let's go in like this. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you kind of like a screenshot. I've just saved one to kind of like show you guys as well with 10 runs, because I'm not going to do now 10 runs, is basically doing this. Right, so we have 7 out of 10. With the gear that we currently have on, I'm more than satisfied with it. He can farm Rango, get a better count, get some better codexes, and then he's going to be able to step up his game, right? And that is going to make a massive, massive difference. Now, this boss, I still think is the most busted boss in the entire game. I think it has crazy RNG. You never know what to expect from him. And I could try and maybe bring in a Yali, but that would mean that I have to basically invest Lattice into Yali as well. And why would we do that when Lilium is just absolutely insane everywhere, as you guys can probably notice, right? So this did all the Grim Pursuits except the big final boss, which is Chloros. Now, he has insane speed. I will need to have a couple of good Jackals in here. I will need Plume, Lily, over 300 speed to keep a similar team with mine without having to invest in different characters. And we don't have that at the moment. So he will need to farm some of the other dungeons. Think about it. You started playing today, right? You managed to defeat the other content, and then you reach the newest content that you won't be able to defeat because you're lacking the gear from all of the previous ones that will help you to defeat this one. So he's kind of like in that situation. That's why we haven't really tried to go onto Inferno. Truth be told, I haven't tried to go onto Hell difficulty either, but that's something that we're going to be able to sort out at some time later. I honestly did not even notice that he was not doing Hell difficulty. If we're talking about thresholds, so right here, guys, he was on Inferno only on Doki with 1 star. The rest of them were Hell 4. So right here, we've done something different. Once again, we are going to run Lilium because she's goated. So we have Plume available on the account. We're going to load the team. So we have Kloss to apply more debuffs, decrease speed. This is the build on her. Then we have Lilium, the exact same build as before. Nothing really changed because that's literally his best gear on the account. We have Plume, as fast as possible. She does need to be the fastest in here to strip the immunity. As much accuracy as possible. You want to have Codex on Lilium and on Kloss. Not on Lilium, on Plume and on Kloss, sorry. Then on Lily, we're going to run with a Gigabyte. In case if we don't 2-shot 3-shot the boss. When the arms, the boss, are going to take a turn, she's going to gain turn meter and cut in front after and push Lilium to do more damage. And Valerian with an Artisan, just in case if we need that extra survivability, and just the standard build. And this team will have a very, very high win rate. Out of all of the teams for the thresholds, this is probably the one with the highest win rate, because you have 2 different characters that will apply the defense down. The only thing that can mess you up is literally Plume getting resisted with the 3 hits to strip that immunity. And that will not really happen, okay? Now, you've seen the arm took a turn, the tentacle increased the defense on the boss. That's why you want to have the Codex. Bang. You have Claws landing more debuffs to increase the curse quill stacks. More damage. And now we have, of course, Lilium going in again. We have plenty of debuffs to kind of like really trigger that momentum set. More curse quills on. Gain the turn. Second skill. GG's. Game over. So this is, without a doubt, the most stable team out of all of them. Now, let's move on to the next one to show you basically what we've done with Doki. So I actually managed to get it down to a pretty quick speed farming, let's just say like that, because I actually built a 4th Codex shell. Now I'm running more or less something similar on my account. I am running Tsukiyomi instead of running Nymphonial. And I'm running, instead of Lily, I am running, what's his freaking name? Let me just quickly find him. I have issues with the names today, guys, for whatever reason. I have it. Marvel, right? Okay, another brain fart. But either way, that's what we're running. This is my real Mocha. I literally moved the gear from my Lilium to her, except one piece that I replaced to get more speed on her. We don't need full crit rate because we are going versus weak affinity. Then we have Lily, the slowest out of the other 4 characters. I don't want her to move in front of any of the other ones, and I do not want her to wake up the second wave. That's why I gave her a Codex. If she was not going to run a Codex, once we were going to get to the second wave, she was going to use the S3, hit everybody, remove the slumber from them, and then that would reduce our damage with real Mocha. But because we gave her a Codex, on this wave, she's going to use the S2. On the next wave, she's going to use the S2 and completely ignore the S3. We do not need to reset real Mocha anyway, because she has that self-reset integrated. Then we have Claws to apply decreased speed and defense down. So she is going to be the fastest in the team with as much accuracy as possible. Straight after, we have Kazuyo. She is as well on a Codex. Second fastest with as much accuracy as possible. And then Nymphonial, the 3rd fastest with a Codex, to make sure we're going to get a buff on this wave and on the second wave. So that's basically what we have in terms of builds. And this team could potentially fail, I think, if Real Mocha fails to one-shot somebody. If she decides to target an enemy that doesn't have the defense down, if Claws is going to get resisted, that can fail. But as long as that does not happen, so right there we did not have the slumber by the looks of it, or I'm not really sure exactly what happened, but we managed to just instantly wipe them anyway. Normally they're not taking that turn, okay? I think we missed a slumber or something. I haven't paid attention. So right here, the problem was that Lily was going to go in with her S3 to reset Real Mocha, and she was waking all of them up. Like this, we're just getting the S2 buff. Bang! Look at that, 43 seconds, okay? So this is beautiful. I love Real Mocha because she can do these crazy, crazy things. Now, there are other characters that can do it as well. Messiah with full lattice into the S1, S3 will do it. I think... I'm not sure about Batsby, to be honest, but you have a few different options. Rosa, Siada can do it. Yali can do it. But hey, Real Mocha has that self-reset, which is massive. Moving on to the final one, and as I was saying, this is probably the least consistent team, and that's mainly because we do not have enough firepower to deal enough damage fast enough. So there are two different variations. What I recommended him, and I would recommend to any of you guys, if you've got a Batsby, once you are able to max the S1, take the S3 to level 4, drop Lilium, give Batsby the exact same build. Later, once you're going to be able to get a Tiger in, that's what you should be running on Lilium on in all the content except Rangokutsu. In Rangokutsu, without the count, it seems to fail way more. And that's something that I've noticed on my account, right? But if you got Plume, you can do it. If you don't have Plume, the best option would be running Viper. Now, he doesn't have him at 6 star. His skills are not maxed. That's why I've tried to basically use the same characters in as much content as possible to basically reduce the Lattice investment, the Shadow Priest investment, and just to show you kind of like the most universal characters that will carry you in all of the PvE content, in case if you were wondering. So right here, we are going to run Dyna to apply more debuffs. I've tried it with Infonial, but unfortunately, it just does not seem to work too well at all, because we're still not doing enough damage. So even my team with Batsby, every now and then, might have a chance to fail, especially if you do not remove the debuffs, the immunity, sorry, not the buffs from the boss. But other than that, the boss hits very hard. If you're not dropping the stacks from the boss, lots of things can go wrong. If you're not cleansing that nasty debuff from your damage dealer, a lot of things can go wrong. So the damage is much, much better like this. And that is mainly because, of course, we have a lot of debuffs on the actual boss. And that will enable us to actually put in more curse quill stacks as well on the boss, which will enhance the damage more. Lilium will get a reset right here. She's going to go in and smack the boss once again. And then, hopefully, we're going to be able to stay alive. And we're going to be able to, after clear the boss with an S2. Now, the more debuffs you have on the boss, the lower the chance for the minion to cleanse the defense down, right? Sometimes it's going to cleanse it, sometimes it's not. So that's something to keep in mind. That can as well overall increase your win rate. Now we need Plume right here to come in and strip that immunity once again, apply the defense down, and then this is a fail, okay? This is a fail, but this will happen. It's not much that I can do about it at the moment. If we would have had more DPS on Lilium, this would have been done, okay? Like, before I built my Batsby, I was running the exact same team, but instead of Plume, I was running Viper. Now, one reason why Viper might be a bit better in this team is because of the decreased attack, okay? That is really, really impactful. The boss is not able to do as much damage. And as you guys probably noticed, we have our Dyna at 5 star only. She's not maxed to really have better stats, better survivability. And that can cause issues as well. Okay, not 50%, but you can easily get to 50% with a well-built Lilium. It's still good damage, though. It's still good damage. So that's what matters the most. Hopefully, they're not going to get rid of that defense down. But the thing is, we're still gonna have to cut in front in order to make it happen. So another S3, beautiful, almost dead. You see, a bit of a push in there, and this will not be a problem anymore. Now we should be able to gain tons of healing from here. We're gonna hopefully get a cleanse before the boss will get to move again and absolutely demolish my Dyna, which is probably happening right now. If the boss doesn't take another turn straight after it, as it happened previously. That's why we failed on the previous round, because the boss took 2 turns back to back, okay? Now it did not happen, so we easily cleared it, right? Because it did not kill any of my characters. But as I was saying, this boss has a lot of RNG, a lot of things can go wrong, and the main thing that you want to do in here is kill this boss as fast as possible to reduce that RNG. That was all for this video, guys. So these are all of the teams that I've built. As I was saying, I try to use as few characters as possible, try to synergize those teams to work across all of the content without breaking the bank. My biggest surprise was the fact that I did not have to burn all these Etheria coins, because he doesn't really have that much good gear. Like, I'm not going to do a cleanse on the account or anything like that, but talking about that, he needs to sell a lot of trash. There are a lot of flat pieces that he needs to get rid of, a lot of pieces that have only a double substat, like these ones, you know, sell. So he requires to do a big cleanse. Probably he's gonna drop over 1,000 pieces from what he has, more than that. Okay, and with shells, he just needs to farm a lot of shells, because this is what he has available. We have the training data, but we don't have the other thing is, let me see how the heck they're called, because the reconfiguration chips, there we go. We have none. I've tried to get rid of a lot of shells to basically change the passives on some of his shells, but it's kind of like I'm getting to a point where I need to sell all of these ones, and it might not be worth it yet. Okay, that's why he needs to farm the Green Pursuit. When we have the 2x, farm the Threshold, and that's about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Hopefully you found this video helpful. I know it's something different, something that I'm not really doing on this channel, but hopefully you found it helpful. Let me know if you want to see more of this in the comments down below. And as usual, big shout out to Etheria Restart for sponsoring the video. If you want to try out the game, click on the link in the description down below, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.